Hi, and welcome to Sugar and Stamps. Today I'm going to start a series on the Civil War. Many people think that the Civil War is about freeing slavery or not freeing slavery. However, I believe that the Civil War is based on states' rights, and it's about the state splitting up. And the reason I'm starting this series with this video is because there are many high schools in my town, and one of them is named Robert E. Lee after the Southern general, who, as many of you probably know, was the first general to surrender to the North at Appomattox Courthouse. He surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. And even though Robert E. Lee surrendered in this particular battle, he was a Southern hero, an excellent general who won almost all of his battles. And he deserves to have a school named after him, but there has been a petition started to change the name of that school. They have already made several changes in regarding that. They used to have like the Confederate flag all over the place. The mascot was called the Rebels. They were the Robert E. Lee Rebels. But they've changed it from the Rebels to the Volunteers, because that makes sense. Instead of being rebels, they wanted to form the teenage mind and encourage them to be something a little bit nicer. But how would you like to be fighting against the Volunteers? That's not very scary, is it? So anyway, back to states' rights. That's mostly what I'll be talking about in this series. And like I said, I was inspired because General Robert E. Lee didn't have anything against slavery or against slaves is what I meant, but he did have a problem with the state splitting up. He didn't want them to split up, and neither did Lincoln, which is why the Civil War was started, was because the Lincoln wanted to pass a law freeing all of the slaves. And the South said, well, that's fine, but we're just not going to be part of the United States anymore. We're going to join, we're going to become our own nation. But instead of just accepting that, they were forced into fighting to stay part of the United States, when really, when our country was founded, we were supposed to have the rights to split up if we wanted to. If we had an issue with the way that America was being run, we as states were supposed to have the rights to be able to break off of America and start our own government and not have to deal with that. And I certainly don't like slavery. I never have. I am a southern state, and so if slavery was still a thing, I'm sure it would be happening where I live. However, I do hate that it was ever a thing. I mean, slavery is awful, and there have been cases of slavery for years, thousands of years, back to the days of Egypt when the Israelites were slaves. So I need to confirm that I don't like slavery, but I do believe very strongly in state rights, and I very much dislike the Civil War because the Civil War has killed more Americans than all of the other wars combined. I'll go into state rights and more about the Civil War next video. But I just wanted to have a quick introduction about why Robert E. Lee should continue to be acknowledged for his deeds, and get us started into this series. Thank you.